I travel a lot, and sometimes it's hard to know where you are, and places all just start to look the same. That was never more true than this year with my trips to Las Vegas and Paris. Sometimes it's just hard to tell where on earth you really are.
You may be forgiven for thinking that we're in Japan, but we're actually a stone's throw away from the Eiffel Tower. We're here for Easter in Paris.
The Japanese Garden of the Buddhist Pantheon is an annex of the Guimet Museum of Asian Art built in 1991. It is a tranquil place where you can hear the bamboo rustling in the heart of Paris.
Meanwhile, out in Las Vegas, it's approaching Chinese New Year, and the Ballagio have a fantastic tribute celebrating China. There is a large indoor garden in an oriental style, with figurines, fountains and koi carp, in celebration of the Year of the Goat.
Vedettes to Pont Neuf do 1-hour cruises from the end of the Ile de la Cité. Don't sit too close to the front if it's windy or you might get splashed. The Alexander III Bridge is an elaborately decorated bridge with nymphs and winged horses. It was built by the Tsars to celebrate an alliance with France for the 1900 World's Fair. The Eiffel Tower was built for the 1889 World's Fair. It was very unpopular at first, but since has become the symbol of Paris. It is so popular now that you have to queue for hours to go up it, so we stayed at the bottom in the pretty gardens. The lifts up the tower are complicated by its shape and were a major engineering feat at the time.
And finally, the sun's out.
Vegas has its own Eiffel Tower, but it's not the only tower on the Strip. The Stratosphere is 109 stories tall, with great views out over the Strip and out into the desert, along with a number of hair-raising thrill rides on the roof. By day, the views are equally spectacular. But this is my chance for a dip in the pool. And of course, you can always take the quick way down. It's even more confusing to find New York right in the middle of Vegas.
Welcome to New York. This city so nice, they think twice.
And among the skyscrapers, of course, the Statue of Liberty.
The Statue of Liberty on the Isle of Swans was given to the city of Paris by Americans living in Paris. It is a quarter the size of the original. The Champs-Élysées leading up to the Arc de Triomphe is Paris's most famous road. The Arc de Triomphe celebrates those who died for France in the Revolutionary and Napoleonic Wars.
There are castles and palaces in Vegas, but none compare to the real palace in Versailles.
Versailles was built for the French royal family in 1682. It provided cake until 1799, when the French decided they preferred bread and replaced the monarchy with Napoleon Bonaparte, who wasn't as good at making cakes, but was much better at fighting wars. The Hall of Mirrors is the most famous room in Versailles. Even with crowds of tourists, you can appreciate its grandeur.
Outside in the garden, there are musical fountains, but for a real fountain show, you need to head across to the Bellagio in Las Vegas.
Place de la Concorde, with its distinctive obelisk, lies between the Tuileries Garden and the Champs-Élysées. The Louvre is the most famous museum in Paris. The glass pyramids built above it were controversial when they were built, being a bit discordant with the traditional architecture. The sign Paris-Orléans is on the old Orsay station, which is actually now an art museum.
The Bridge of Love in Paris became so heavy with the weight of the padlocks that shortly after our visit they were removed, as it was threatening the structure of the bridge.
The Ile de la Cité is the historical heart of Paris, where the Notre-Dame Cathedral is located. The Seine River flows through Paris, around the two islands, Ile de la Cité and Ile Saint-Louis, through Rouen, and emerges into the English Channel at Le Havre and Honfleur on either side of the river. The Pont Neuf, or New Bridge, is actually the oldest bridge in Paris.
Now it's your turn. Can you guess where we are? Is this an eccentric Parisian or a novelty from Nevada? And is this man insane or a Vegas traffic cop? Only Bear knows for sure.
The Marais is famous today as being the artistic quarter and also the traditional gay village of Paris. We came across a farmer's market in the Marais with cider, cheese and other products from the Pyrenees. Andy went straight for the cider.
And Chris for the smelly cheese.
Sacré-Cœur is a distinctive Catholic church at the top of the Montmatre hill. The surrounding area was famous for its artists and nightclubs down in the Pigalle area.
Breakfast cider.
We had a crepe in the centre of the square to escape from the hordes of tourists for a while. Bordering Montmartre is the Pigalle area of sex shops and cabarets, including the Moulin Rouge. The Pompidou Centre is a modern art gallery. The nearby Stravinsky Fountain, with its moving, brightly coloured sculptures, is currently in somewhat poor state of repair. The place in front of the Pompidou Centre is famous for its street artists.
In Vegas, we found surprisingly good beer and cider.
We went to O'Neill Paris, which had good food and beer, if you can tolerate the service.
And finally, there's no mistaking downtown Las Vegas and the Fremont Street Experience, with the world's largest canopy and light show, along with all the famous casinos, instantly recognisable from just about every film and TV show set in Vegas. And in the neon capital of the world are some of the best thrill rides, like my favourite, Slotzilla, with a zipwire that runs the full length of Fremont Street, and maybe all the way to Paris.